Trell. How we doing, guys?
Doing awesome.
Good.
Yeah, doing pretty well. Yeah, I'm just feeling like this beard is so good, and Wombat's beard is so good, and then Trell's okay.
Look,
really
all right. I don't want to hear no beer shaming going on. This is stupid.
Dude, it feels like it's maybe correlated to if you actually are good at Dark Souls 3 or not. That's something you can
Did
think
you
about.
not see the Nameless King go down yesterday? Look,
No,
He's not even the
didn't,
hardest,
actually.
though.
I
man.
have I have a clip. I can bring it up. Since no one else clipped it, I had to go clip myself because people only clip bad stuff that happens to.
Because you
Trell.
only give me bad emotes. That tells me you don't care about your victories. Anyway, I'm doing pretty well. Before we get off topic, I'm doing well.
Welcome, you guys. So before we get started, I just gotta say, less than 2 weeks away till Sekiro.
Oh, don't even get me, dude. I'm
We
gonna
got-
quit.
We
I'm
got
gonna
12
quit everything.
days left. 12 days.
That's
I'm
so
gonna say
crazy.
that Bloodborne is gonna take a backseat. I think I can beat DS3 in the DLC before Sekiro, and then
Yeah, that's fine. Obviously,
That-
yeah, I
that-
agree with that.
Potentially, yes. But the last couple bosses are going to test you. Let's put it
Well,
this way:
especially-
one particular boss took me weeks.
weeks.
A couple
Oh,
It
streams.
was his first DS game, but
was.
yeah,
Oh my god,
And
dude,
Well,
that was
considering
all
that,
it's
like,
8 Wilhelms.
8 oh my god.
Oh, Wilhelm didn't take me very long at all.
It took for like
Wilhelm was-
3 years.
Dude, Wilhelm was
But
not 3
anyway,
years.
so let's get to topic, right?
Sekiro. Yeah,
No,
okay,
no.
let's go.
So
That's the
we're
topic
here
in 2
today to
weeks.
talk about games and the ages that they're designed for. Okay, so like some games are designed oriented toward kids.
Dark Souls.
Some are obviously oriented towards adults, and some kids games adults like to play, and some adult games kids like to play. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna unpack that a bit. So, I mean, the obvious one to start with is Nintendo games. Nintendo
Right.
almost always, like all their headliners are designed toward kids.
So we were kind of talking about this before one, but you said Legend of Zelda maybe not so much, and I would agree with
I
that.
would say it's
I can
a
see it's
little
like
bit
in
more
a mix.
advanced, but it's like still like half in. It's like 1 foot in both sides.
Right. And how do you feel about Metroid? Because that's the other one I would say is in Nintendo's main lineup that isn't maybe as geared towards kids as it is to like an older fan base.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think what happened is the reason games were always designed for kids first.
Yeah.
Like when they first came out, like they designed them hard, and
Well, yeah, because the games were like 3 hours long, and they didn't want you to be able to beat it in a rental period.
right.
basically.
But like, I don't know. I feel like what eventually happened is the games that they designed for kids, those kids grew up and they like followed them. You know, not follow them like, oh, they're coming. No, but like follow them in terms of like, okay, those kids are now adults, and we need to like keep this fan base going and keep them going with games. So like Legend of Zelda, for instance, like a lot of the fan base is adults, right? Not as much
Yep.
as the kids. Like those people who grew up playing Zelda games are now still playing those Zelda games today. Things like
Yeah.
that. So like I guess in a sense we're also going to be talking about how like games have progressed
Okay.
as
I like
people
that.
have grown up. So go ahead. I guess we could start with what games do you think are specifically adult games, like kids either
You know.
shouldn't play or they're not designed for kids.
A few that come to my head are Mortal Kombat and Doom.
Oh yeah.
Are like, I'm not gonna say like obviously kids have played them. I played them when I was probably younger than I should have, but those were obviously designed with adults in mind in terms of the gore, the violence, like all that goes on there. And so I would say those are two like strictly made for adult games, you know.
Rise of the Triad, which was a Doom-esque game, was
Oh,
all about,
yeah,
like,
Rise of the
shooting
Triad.
Nazis and stuff.
Yeah, Wolfenstein, any of that.
Yeah. Wolfenstein 2, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, those are definitely, and I guess trying to think. I was gonna say there's a third game I wanted. Oh, Grand Theft Auto 3 or any of the Grand Theft Autos, but 3 was like the main, like the one where you pick up hookers, run them over, stuff like that. I think that's where that started. I didn't play the first two, but
I didn't either. I wasn't allowed to when I was a kid.
I don't want to either. Those
I
games
remember
are
one.
way off limits.
Yes, right. One specific Christmas, my cousin got it, who's older than me, and him, my dad, and my uncle locked themselves in the room to play, and I could hear them having fun, and I was so pissed. I was like 8 or something, trying to get in the room because they were having so much fun, and I didn't know what was going on in there.
So does
Yeah.
the game have to have sexual or bloody content to be an adult game?
I'm gonna say, go ahead, Trell.
So if you look at the ESRB's rating system, I think when it starts to have some of those mature themes, it will automatically get bumped into certain categories.
Sure, but I mean, does it need to have mature themes to be an adult game? Like, you know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. No, I don't think so.
Right. I would agree. Like some games, I mean, just like either the mechanics, like honestly, like if you want to play like a fighting game at the top level, most kids won't have the dexterity or even the memorization to know all the combos to play that game
I disagree.
at the level that's required. Or okay, what do you mean?
I think that the younger you are, the more reflexes you have. Like the older you get. the
Oh,
more
I'm talking
developed you
like ages 5 through 10 right now.
are. Okay.
And I don't know, maybe I'm just not good. I just feel like even me being a mediocre fighter player could beat
Mediocre.
almost I could beat like almost any 5 to 10-year-old at any fighting game just because if I played it even a bit, just because they won't memorize the combos or know how to input them properly. And even I don't know, I mean, I would say even if they aren't strictly like, I guess that's a bad example because it's fighting, but so we can come back to that if you want, but even more so some puzzle games, are just designed where most kids might not be able to figure the puzzles out, whereas an adult would. Specifically games like anything that maybe involves more like kind of like deduction or abstract thinking as opposed to just where do I put this block kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think the list is probably small of like games that are like for adults, but not necessarily only adult content or like only adult content. Is that
Right?
How I want to say it?
Well, yeah,
but
and like, it's hard. It's hard because like we aren't the developers, so like we can't really imagine like what they were thinking when they designed the game. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes it's obvious, and sometimes it's not. Like, if like, oh no, this is like Conker's Bad Fur Day is definitely designed toward adults, right? But like,
Yep. Got all
young
that
adults,
game.
definitely can really enjoy it, and like there is some childish adult humor, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Poop jokes are childish humor, right?
it's going to appease all your like your stupid humors inside you and make you giggle and laugh for sure.
Yeah.
All those kind of little things. I mean, same thing with like, I mean, if you think about it, like in GTA, you do some really horrible things. You can go
I
and
wouldn't
like
even
get a
know. I've never
hooker,
played one.
and you can go get a
Really?
hooker, and then all of a sudden after you do your thing with the hooker in the car, and the car's bouncing, then you can just pull her out of the car and kill her and get the money back. It's like you do some really horrible things in that game, but then all of a sudden you're kind of like, did it. You're like, okay, maybe it's just, and then you can just go on like killing spree and just drive on the road on the sidewalk and just slaughter people. Maybe it's just like a way of venting or something for some people. I don't know. But
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I do the same thing. Not because I want to do this stuff in real life, but maybe because
Yeah.
like
you're like I would never do this in real life, but in this game, I'm going to slaughter everyone.
Yeah, I would say that like if I'm ever given the choice between good and bad in a video game, I generally choose the bad option.
Agreed. I do that in
Like
every
Fable, for
Elder
instance.
Scrolls.
Yeah.
Fable, Elder Scrolls, yeah. I'm like, for some reason, it's just like I don't get to be bad in real life. I'm gonna be horrible in this game.
you can always be good in real life.
Yeah, it's a way of just letting out your inner bad self or something.
But now that I think about it, like, if that's the way everybody plays, then like, I don't see people who are bad in real life being good in video games. So like,
No, 'cause-
who's being good?
The people who are just really good in real life.
Yeah. I don't see that happening either. They've already had a taste of the bad. They want more. You know how enjoyable it is for a video game. I'm guessing it's like 10 times more in real life. No, I'm just kidding.
Joel, don't give in. Anger leads to hate.
Don't go to the dark side. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
And then, okay, so now one about the opposite question you asked: what games do you think are like strictly? No, I guess again, like when I say strictly kids, I mean strictly designed for kids. Not only kids can play this game.
Well, I think like Mario is definitely a great example. Pokemon are great
Mario, Yoshi,
examples.
Kirby, Pokemon. Yep.
Like all those are, and like again, it's like Nintendo's like an easy low ball for that. Like
Oh,
I look
yeah.
at my game collection and like a lot of Xbox games, like I wouldn't say are kid oriented, like Halo,
Mm-mm.
uh, Left 4 Dead.
I love Left 4 Dead.
You know, I mean, like I have Viva Pinata. That's definitely a kid's game, but
Didn't you say that game is trash? Did you
It
say that
is
game's bad?
trash, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
and that's another thing. Like if a game is specifically designed for kids, like Barney's Adventure on the Sega,
Yep.
like they're usually pretty trash, right? Like they
Yeah.
gotta
I
be
mean,
simple,
because they don't appeal to us.
right? But like people still speed run those things and like have fun with them. Like it's
Yeah, they do.
weird. But there are also some really cool games that are like designed for kids. I would say Kingdom Hearts would be one.
Kingdom Hearts. I don't even. Okay. You know me. I don't know the story. I feel like the story tries to get a bit mature in some of its like themes, but I also don't know what's going on in that game, and that's just what I think is happening. So I could be a big liar there. But
I also
But I
wonder
agree-
though if they do stuff like that on purpose. Like they do that in what's the name of that company? Pixar movies. They have adult things in Pixar movies all the time, and I think they're just like
Oh,
little hidden things that like
Because they know
as
the
a
parents are watching.
they know the parents are watching exactly. So like you be in the movie theater and they say something else, and the parents like the mom and dad will kind of catch each other's eye, like, did they just say that? And then like the kids just kind of like,
yeah.
yay, you know, they just are oblivious to it all, and but the parents are like, whoa. So I think little gems like that are sometimes thrown in kids' games because they're absolutely harmless because the kid will have no idea, but the parents like,
Interesting.
yeah, they're like, that was kind of funny because my kid had no idea what that meant.
Do you remember the trailers for Dead Space 2? Like the commercials for it?
I don't.
Let me see if I can bring one up while we're
Oh,
talking.
that'd be good. That'd be good. So, like, you guys were listing some games earlier. You guys, and what was you guys were saying that they were games that are definitely not rated to kids. Is that what you're saying?
Well, the first question I'm gonna ask are what are games that were like designed specifically for adults, not kids. And I mentioned Doom and Mortal Kombat and like Rise of the Triad, stuff like that.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
See, like as a kid, I definitely was. I was not allowed to play games like that. I did play. I guess what age were you allowed to start playing games like that were a bit more risky?
Like my parents let me start playing like it was like 13-ish. I think they didn't care if I played like M-rated games like Grand Theft Auto, stuff like that.
I think I was probably around that age. I think I was maybe a little younger just because my dad was heavily into Diablo, so I was able to kind of watch that, and then I started playing that with him. So that was probably my first real like M game, I guess.
When I was 8, my parents got me a Game Boy, and I played the hell out of Super Mario Land 6 Golden Coins and
Good game.
Donkey Kong, the yellow cartridge, and then Pokemon Red and Blue.
Oh, Pokemon.
And then my friend next door had a NES, so we'd play a few games on that, like Warcraft 1.
Yep.
And a few other things like that. And then my dad got us a Sega and played a lot of it. Played on it a lot more than we did, but Pitfall and like Sonic and stuff.
Pitfall. Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, like the Pitfall for Sega is real hard. But it's oriented for kids, but like it's a hard game. It's really good. Like I had Just Cook play it on a retro game. Retro game day, and like he was having a lot of trouble. And then like if you lose all your lives and game over, you have to start all the way over from the beginning. So like it's an unforgiving one too.
So it's like the Dark Souls. No, I'm just joking.
It wasn't until I was like 11 or 12 that we got an N64 and my real console days began. When Ocarina of Time came out. What we got was N64 and Iggy's Wrecking Ball.
You played Iggy's Wrecking Ball?
Oh yeah,
I don't know anyone who knows that game.
I
That's
love it.
I
awesome.
have no idea what
I
that
have it-
game is.
I have it in my pile back there.
Me too. Oh, this is you play as like these little like heads of like a robot or like a lizard's like the lizard's Iggy, like the iguana kind of deal. And it's like a
They
racing
have like
game,
a
but you also
grappling
have like a
hook,
yeah,
and you use
yes.
the grappling hook to race. Like you,
It's
Okay.
like
Interesting.
it's like a side scroller almost, but
yeah,
vertical and
it's fun.
horizontal side scroller.
I remember it being fun. I actually don't think it's that good of a game if I like played it now, but I really
Entertaining
enjoyed it
as
as a
hell
kid.
though.
Yeah, it is. If you had like a party, it'd be a phenomenally just
Yeah.
dumb. But yeah, Iggy's Wrecking Ball. Damn.
And like there's like the physics with it. You could like do maneuvers and stuff and like jump.
Yeah, you
ahead.
could like slingshot yourself. Yes.
And there was like so like it was basically race levels and stuff. Oh, by the way, I posted the link of the trailer for Dead Space 2.
Oh,
I was
gotta watch
just
this real
I was
quick.
just watching it actually. That's
Your mom
super
hates
good.
Dead Space 2.
Your mom hates Dead Space 2. You know, true. It's, like good for the developers of doing that though, because that game should not be played by kids.
They should have shown her the eyeball scene.
Yeah, that's all you
That's
gotta
all
see
they-
is that eyeball thing.
Was that in 2 or 3?
That was in
2, right?
That
Yeah.
was in 2.
I mean,
3
there's like babies and stuff, like zombie babies in it. So like.
Oh yeah. 3 actually was probably the least graphic of the trilogy.
Hmm.
You played them? Wombat?
I've played 1 and 2 up to the eye scene. Like after the eye scene, the like shadowy area.
Yeah.
I couldn't beat the boss. Like, I kept running out
Oh.
of ammo and dying.
Yeah, you ammo locked.
Yeah.
That's actually a common theme. I've heard a lot of people say that in that. game.
That's so bad.
It is. They should. I mean, they shouldn't allow you to have that, but at the same time, it's good because you gotta watch it. In 3, it's impossible to ammo lock. I swear to God.
So, do you think that you think that you should be able to soft lock like that, Trell?
I think so, but at the same time, I think if you are that bad off, you should like.
I think if
Well,
you
actually,
have the
don't you have the
opportunity to ammo
ability-
lock, you should be able to like reload and play up to that point again.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Or,
Like,
go back to a previous chapter.
before the cutscene. Like you have to activate the
Yep.
cutscene each time, but in this, like it's already after the cutscene. So like I
don't
can't,
you have the? Can't you load from a chapter?
No.
Okay, so yeah, that I think is bad. Like I think you should be able to have up to a certain chapter if you're that screwed or something like that.
right.
But it makes you like start over like an entire chapter over again as like consequence.
So yeah. Obviously, Dead Space is definitely an adult's game. It's adult themed. It's not to be played by kids, but I mean, what's to stop kids from playing it? You know what I mean? Like.
Right.
You
Right.
guys have talked about how kids, as kids, we've played games that we probably shouldn't have when we were kids. Like I actually played some computer games. Like I played Rise of the Triad when I was like 9. So, you know,
Look how Wombat turned out. He messed him up for life.
that's right. You know, I got a tattoo and everything.
So, I guess in staying with the theme of, versus each other, that, comparing these things, would you guys say that it's more profitable to be a child game in this world?
Let me think about that. I think that there are more children have more free time, obviously, and whatnot. But I don't know enough. I guess I want to say yes instinctively, but at the same time, children don't really have money, and if their parents aren't willing to buy it or they don't really agree with how video like that, they should spend their time playing video games, then you're not going to get as many sales off that as you would making a game targeted towards like I don't know 18 plus, where you generally have your own job and you can just buy whatever you want when you want to buy it.
I would counter that argument, being a parent of 2, saying that sometimes your piece is like when they're at least entertained.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
But
That's
sometimes
fair.
shelling out money just for like a little bit of piece is like, yeah,
So,
please,
It's
please.
really a game for
So-
yourself.
So I've got a few statistics for you.
Oh please, yeah, let's
so
do it.
they've run some studies, and apparently 91% of kids are exposed to or play video games nowadays.
Okay.
However,
Damn.
62% of parents still think video games are bad for kids.
That's 62% of parents.
That first statistic was that games exposed to games that they shouldn't be exposed to, or just
No,
just games?
video games in general. So 91, like pretty much every kid is playing video games.
Yeah,
In some
dude.
way.
My 3-year-old. Oh my god, he can work a tablet better than like most adults that I work with
Right.
that are like mainframe programmers in my company. You know, like he gets like the intuitive design and he just knows how to operate it, and it's crazy to watch him sometimes. Like when he's like, "Oh, I'm done with this app," he'll hit the home button, he'll scroll over a couple because he knows his over here, and there's like subfolders on his tablet, so he'll like go and he'll like select the folder and pick it up again and go to the menu system, and he turns like if it's too loud, I'm like, "Can you turn it down?" He's like, "Oh yeah," and he like turns down the volume. So I'm like for me, like I thought a Game Boy, I was like, "Oh, this is so awesome! I'm so futuristic," and he's sitting here like working this thing like it's like the Minority Report. I'm like, okay. This is bizarre. I can't believe you can operate this thing.
Would you guys consider Super Mario Odyssey a kids game or no?
I would.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to like I googled Super Mario Odyssey sales and then I googled like God of War for the PS4 sales, but it's not. God, I'm having a hard time finding the God of War sales outside like the first 3 days. Before I was so Mario Odyssey at the end of December of this past year sold 13.75 million copies.
Is it number 1 on the Switch?
I don't. Let me see that actually.
Or was Breath of the Wild still number 1? I don't remember the number 1 game actually now.
God, Breath of the Wild. I gotta play it again.
It's so good.
So good.
Let's see. So when was this? When was this updated? Oh, it's actually Smash Bros now.
Oh
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, that's right. Smash
Yep.
Bros. did because Smash Bros. has got the competitive stuff in there as well. So
Right.
Oh no! Wait! No, sorry. It's actually Mario Kart 8.
really,
That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
So it goes Mario Kart 8, Mario Odyssey, then Smash Bros, then Breath of the Wild, and then Pokemon Let's Go for the top 5.
insane. That it's a deluxe game. I hate Nintendo for doing that.
I know. I do. Me too.
Because that only encourages
keep
them
doing
to do
it.
more of that.
Yes.
God, they're so smart in doing that. They didn't have, oh my god, that's like free money for them. That's all right. Anyways,
All right, here we go. Okay, well, it looks like right now, actually, yeah, kids' games are more profitable. So the top 5 Nintendo song games, which are all kids' games, I just read them off, is 15 million, like 14 million, 12 million, 11 million, 10 million for the 5th place. Then the best selling PS4 games, which are all arguably adult games, like Horizon Zero Dawn, Uncharted 4, God of War, Witcher 3. The top selling PS4 game is apparently 10 million, which is the 5th place selling Switch game.
wow. See, I think with Nintendo, that Nintendo's got a good state, like a good recipe going with their franchises because like, not only are they kids games, but they like what you guys were saying earlier, they appeal to the adults because we were kids once and we played those when it was in their early ages, and now we've grown up with them, so we continue doing them. So to like have a game that you have like a wide audience band like that, they're just gonna dominate.
Yep.
So like what the game I had in mind when I asked that question, I guess, was Fortnite. Like I feel like that's been the most successful battle royale game because it is a bit more childish.
It is. It's also free, so so the kids can literally, if they have a computer, just go install it and play it. Like you don't even need to talk to your parents.
And any device, so that way that like my 3-year-old, he can probably go play Fortnite if I downloaded it for him. He'd probably he'd be the next ninja for sure.
Oh
and
my
then,
god!
you know, I could be raking in all that Red Bull money or whatever.
Why haven't you done that yet? What are you doing? All the Red
I don't
Bull
know.
money.
But
Yep.
you know, like I feel like I feel like Fortnite just has like that like little cutesy kind of like cartoony thing to it that appeals to kids, and then
Well, it does, and then they also do. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
because I mean like that's Call of Duty. I don't think is Call of Duty even on the top 10 of Twitch right now.
Did you say Switch?
Twitch.
Twitch.
Like Twitch.
Oh.
Let me see. What's the? It's
Uh,
not. Where's Call of Duty?
I know that whatchamacallit, Grand Theft Auto's #1 for Xbox.
Number
Oh.
29, Black Ops 4. Are you serious?
Well, they also Treyarch kind of dicked that game when they had a bunch of microtransactions, so everyone's mad at them. That's part of it.
Oh, okay. I
So
mean,
there's
that's
not
fair.
nearly as many people playing it now as there were when it first came out because of how they handled it.
Apex Legends is
Call of Duty World War II
Um,
is Call of Duty World War II and Black Ops and Infinite Warfare are 2, 3, and 4 in their top 10.
oh, what's number 1?
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh wow.
Star
Well.
Wars Battlefront is number 6. Battlefield 1 is 5. So 4 of the top 10 are Call of Duties. Advanced Warfare is number 7. Halo 5 Guardians is 8. Destiny 2 is 9. And Fallout 4 Physical Only is 10.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Xbox One.
So, like, what would you think if they made a Souls-like game, but child themed?
I don't want that.
Kids would be good at it, like a hard game.
Is it
like
just
that?
as hard as Dark Souls, but themed to be more kid friendly?
Yeah, instead of blood, it's just like candy spraying out 'em. I don't know, whatever. Use your
No,
imagination,
I
but-
get.
but
No,
yeah, exactly. It's just like themed to be like not such a brutal universe, but the game is still hard.
I mean, most kids I know aren't patient enough to where if they lose too often, they just don't do it. So I don't know. I don't know many kids, but the kids that I do know, just like my cousins, really would just get mad when they died to the twin teddy bears, and they would just not play.
So I've got another kind of qualifying question for you. So,
Okay.
what is the age where a child goes to an adult in the video game world?
Are you asking like when
Ooh.
I would let my kids play mature games, or
The age of ascension in video games.
Like, when would you let a child, when would you let your kids play Dark Souls?
Ooh, man. Probably like 13,
Yep.
maybe 12. I guess
Okay.
it depends like on their maturity. I guess you would just as a parent you would know.
When would you let your kids play Conker's Bad Fur Day?
That one it would
Like
probably be
never.
out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the like I guess
So
the
you-
themes in Dark
you
Souls like
think
where it's
that
violence.
Graphic violence is lower on the adult spectrum than like sexual content, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like a good example in Conkers. Conkers has some stuff in it where I guess it's also like the influence you gotta think like seeing like you fight a monster in Dark Souls. I don't know, something like Gaping Dragon they'll probably give him nightmares forever. So I don't know, you'd have to really be thinking about you'd have to know your kid too. But
Mhm.
like I'm thinking about something like Conkers, like where you like find the big-breasted sunflower lady. I
Mhm.
feel like that would just have like mess him up more than the Gaping Dragon because he would be going around thinking that it's okay to do like point out big boobs or something, as opposed to, you know, I fought a cool monster that was scary and I was victorious. And, you know, I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but that's just
No,
the reasoning in my
I
head.
think I follow you there. I guess it's kind of like with movies, how you like have to kind of judge it per game, per movie, like
Yeah.
what would be good or not.
It's a hard question.
Yeah, and like when do you let your kids, I guess, start watching R-rated movies versus like mature games, you know? And like each R-rated movie might be different, you know, like it really depends. So it's interesting.
What's the rating on Lord of the Rings? Is that
I
mature?
think they're 13.
Or sorry, I said mature. Yeah, but and it's a different rating system,
I knew you
isn't it?
meant.
Yeah, it's not R. I don't think it's R, right?
Yeah,
No.
I don't think it's mature.
I'll look it up.
Okay. Like I almost want to say Dark Souls could be this like I think of Dark Souls like I think of
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings in some ways, you know. Maybe Quaylag's a little bit risque, but
Quillag is risque, and so is
Very risque, man.
Yeah. and arguably so. I can't remember her name. The big-chested woman behind Ornstein and Smo. I'm blanking. But her.
Guinevere.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, Lord of the Rings is PG-13 if you still care.
PG-13. No, that's good. It's hard, and it's sometimes like this is where I thought it was like before I got a degree in programming, I was thinking about switching over to a degree in philosophy.
Yeah.
And this is where I kind of like went off that course because I wanted there to be some sort of absolute truth, but life that never ever is going to be that way. It's always
not
like
black
a
and white,
case by
yeah.
case. Yeah, it's case by case basis every single time. So then I was like, well, this is pointless. You get into a room and no one is ever going to be able to be on the same page. It's always going to be like, what if, and then it's kind of the same way here. Like, I don't think there's ever going to be like a clear line, and the rating systems have done a good job for a generalized purposes, but
Mhm.
generalization also leads to mediocreness in some ways, so it's just like,
Mediocre.
yeah.
Me-
And it's just they caught a lot of things, but then there's some things that are going to slip through or get caught up in their rating system. But again, I guess to wrap that up, I would say Dark Souls, I feel like if it was a movie rating, could be PG-13.
I think
Maybe.
Quaylag
Yeah.
would push it over into R.
Who would?
Quaylag, push it into R.
See, I think you just blur a little bit and they'd be fine. I mean, there's no nips. It was just
I know.
There's hair.
It's frontal.
But the idea is there. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And I never really looked up how they do it, to be honest. So I just want to read this a little bit here. Rating process. This is on like Wikipedia. To obtain a rating for a game, a publisher submits a detailed questionnaire and a DVD containing footage of the most graphic and extreme content found in the game to
Oh,
the ESRB, including content related to the game's context, storyline, reward system, unlockable and otherwise hidden content, and other elements that may affect its rating. So they actually have to put together like a little package.
here's the most messed up shit we have in our game.
Yeah. So imagine games like Dead Space 2 when you're like the guy like at the ESRB, like, all right, I'm gonna rate this game, and you're looking at it, you're like,
Oh god.
oh,
Oh, what's up, Ocean?
Yeah, we're not really necessarily talking about genre here. We're talking about rating systems and like the content within it.
We're trying to give Dark Souls a movie rating.
Yeah,
If we were going to,
Yeah.
like, would it be R or would it be PG-13? Pretty much.
That'd be. I would love to see. I wonder if there's like any YouTube videos of people at the ESRB rating some of the like rating Outlast. Like when they're watching that stuff.
or
Oh, they're
gonna cut his
Dante
dick off?
Inferno.
The DLC for Outlast. If I was the guy watching that and rating that, I'd be like, this
What
game should never be played.
Not publishing. Don't publish. That's the rating.
Don't publish this game. Be insane.
Yeah, it's tough.
Oh,
Yo,
what's up,
going on,
Tough?
Tough?
Welcome.
Tough, wait, when have you ever seen me on stream? I never stream. That's impossible.
He even gave up saying I'm Kirby and I never stream because
Because I just don't, Charles gonna force me to stream Sekiro, so I'm gonna have to stream that in 2
Yeah,
weeks.
definitely are gonna have
Good,
to.
because you've never streamed a Souls game.
I streamed Neo and I
That one-
streamed Surge.
Neo, that one doesn't count.
It's like the same game.
You said it was an easy game. I want you
It
to
was an
struggle.
easy game.
I want the struggle, man.
Apparently Sekiro's even harder, so I'm really excited. Anyway,
Although a lot of people say that it's not going to be as hard as Souls games. Anyways, we digress.
okay,
Uh,
Sekiro.
So like Bayonetta is obviously
Oh, yeah.
like a mature game.
That game is it's for kids. I mean, you got that game is something else. That game knows what they're doing. That game,
That game was originally on the Nintendo too, right?
it
It's a
was.
Nintendo game, yeah.
So that probably is one of their lowest selling games, I would say.
Is it?
I'm just guessing. Because every other game that Kirby mentioned before was an absolute banger, but it was a child game, right?
Let's see.
And then you would think that like they release something like Bayonetta, and then they have these expectations of hitting this benchmark for like money for their ROI, and then all of a sudden when they get like a Bayonetta and it returns back this, which is still good, they're probably like, let's put another Mario game up
They
there.
sold
you know?
800,000.
So the
It's
Smash
decent.
Brothers series
800,000?
is considered an adult game.
How?
Just because of the violence,
Yeah.
cartoon violence.
Okay.
Perfect Dark
That's a
was considered
stretch.
an adult game, a mature game.
What is?
Perfect Dark.
That's fine.
Perfect
You
Dark.
should
I've never
roll.
played
That
those.
game's fantastic.
It's an
Well,
excellent
the one on
game.
N64 is fantastic. I haven't played the other ones.
I've never played Perfect Dark, but I have it on the rare replay, and it's on my to-do list, my forever growing to-do list.
You won't catch up. Trust me.
I won't.
I'm on-
Sekiro's gonna be the last game I ever play ever again. Let's just talk about. We're at Stream Takeover. Let's talk about Sekiro.
Dude, that's what we're gonna talk about in 2 weeks. That's the Sunday after Sekiro.
Oh my god, is it really?
Yes. Wait, dude, that's the stream. We can't talk about it yet. We have to have 2 days to play it, and then we can talk about it.
Oh my god, we're gonna be absolutely just like living that game up so hard, just hyping it up.
I know. What was I gonna say? Do you guys have a preference? Like, I don't know if you had to choose, like, do you tend to lean towards mature games or kids games, or do you not care?
I'm trying to think. That's a really good question. I don't.
Because I mean, you both have played a lot of mature games recently, but I know you both love the absolute shit out of Mario Maker.
Oh yeah. See, like, it doesn't to be a good game.
Mhm.
I don't need to have like. It's not like Oh, Quelaag was revealing. That drew me in. You know, it's not like it's not like the content being mature is like something that obviously draws me in or something like that.
Right.
I guess it's just the gameplay being interesting or something like that. Like obviously, this like kind of fantasy medieval world of I like that. You know, so obviously like that was when I saw that in Dark Souls, I was like, that's cool. But I always thought that Dark Souls was going to be like a hack and slash game, kind of like some of those
like God of
Kingdom
War,
Under Fire games.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, and I was like, I never really was interested in it until I got it for free off Xbox Live Gold, and then it ruined my life. But then like with like Mario games and stuff like that, the gameplay is just so fresh and stuff like that, and it's so I don't know. I mean, the storyline, Princess Peach is stolen again. Big surprise, you know. I mean, like, I'm sure, like, if I went into some people's chat and like when they were starting out Odyssey, and I'm like, before you play this, because I'm gonna spoil it. Princess Peach gets stolen. They're gonna be like, "Fuck! I'm not playing this game." You know, they're gonna be like, "No, okay, big surprise, right?" But they don't care about that. They're there for the age-old like save the princess, whatever, and it's fun and it's crazy stuff that Mario has to do. And so I think you get drawn in just because it's some really good gameplay. I think is the biggest thing for me, at least.
Yeah, of course.
And
then everything else out of that.
Level design.
Right. Yeah. Level design is huge. I mean, I thought that like some of the level design and you brought up Dead Space 2. I thought that was good. That you got to go back to the Ishimura or whatever, and then some of the like the replay of levels from the first one. I was like, that's really good that you get to see that stuff again. And things like that, like, you know, that really hit it home for you. Obviously, I like the horror kind of thing too, because I played a lot of horror games on my stream, so I do like that aspect as well. So that draws me in. But I don't think I guess I'm not limited to just like graphic content.
Yeah. Like it's hard because like two of my most played games are Zelda and Minecraft, right? And those are both more kid oriented than say Dark Souls or Halo. You know what I mean? Like, which are also two of my most played games. So like it's hard to like make a decision what I like more. And it's also interesting that like even if it's a game that's designed for kids, it can still be fun for adults, just like movies that are designed for kids. Like Inside Out is designed for kids but has adult messages.
Screw that movie, dude. Screw that movie.
Up, you know, like all those tearjerkers, you know, like.
Oh man, dude, I hate tearjerker movies. They suck. Because you're sitting there, you're like, I'm not crying, you're crying. You know, it's so bad. Pixar is terrible for things like that lately. I swear to God.
They do a good job of unpacking emotional stuff, and like I'd say games don't do that as much, but they do. They do still hit the button of something that an adult would like to play too. You know,
not unless, of course, you're Detroit Become Human.
Oh, I can't hype that game up. I can't do that right now.
I can't do it. I know. But I get what you're saying there, Wombat. Like, you know, I say that movies are able to, because movies, you don't have to worry about like the player interaction, keeping them entertained with the gameplay and stuff like that. Sometimes that they take you on the ride for you on the way that they intend. where games like sometimes you have to let them discover it for themselves. And if you're anything like Kirby, where you're skipping cutscenes, then
Hell
they're,
yes.
they're never gonna find it out, right?
Yeah.
But I do think that like the
I mean,
I don't wanna say-
at the end of Shadow Colossus, when
Yeah.
things happen, since we're no longer on a spoiler episode, like, I mean, that was a tearjerker, right? Like, they do get you invested in stuff, and then like,
Yeah.
drop the other shoe, if you will.
Yeah, it was like like immediately afterwards. I had to go to work, of course, because I was like super late on beating that game.
Of course.
Oh
But
my
then-
god.
But then immediately afterwards, when I got to work, I didn't work, and I just looked up that game for like 3 hours. And
I just
but no,
I'm
when I
not coding,
next
you're
had the
coding.
free when I next had the free opportunity, I was like googling like mad, like what does that all mean, you know? And it just completely just blasted my mind.
Mhm.
It was
So
good.
yeah, like, to bring it all back, like, I don't know if I have a preference between adult versus kid
Is-
games.
yeah, that's fair.
I really like them both for different reasons.
Yeah.
Like Mario Maker, for instance, is like something that anybody can enjoy and make their own content with, right? But like,
Yep.
it's definitely a kid-oriented game. Like, it's a Mario game. Sonic, for instance, is like most of the like best series were oriented toward kids, but they made them with the audience in mind and knew that it wasn't just kids playing it. You know what I mean?
Right. It's kind of just whatever you're feeling like at the time. Like, dude, I'm
I guess
actually
it
like
depends on the quality of the game, period. Like, if it's a good game, everybody
Yup.
can enjoy it.
exactly. Like, I'm kind of hankering for actually a horror game, to be honest. Like, I'm kind of like I could use some good spooks, even though DS3 is giving me some pretty good spooks. Like, you know, I just getting that urge. So I kind of want to be on my toes and
You got
stuff like that.
Until Dawn, right?
I do. Yes, yeah, I do have
Nice.
Until Dawn. Is that that's not a
Nice.
spooky game though? Isn't that a story game?
It's a horror spooky. It's like it's Detroit, but in a horror setting.
Whoa, that's insane.
Don't worry.
Take it. That's the best way I can say it.
Don't worry, Trell. I'm designing a game for you.
Designing a game for me. You're gonna make a Dark Souls maker.
No,
Cool.
no. It's I'm designing a game where it's all spider monkeys all the way down.
I'm never playing
Oh,
that.
God. Yeah, dude, Until Dawn is great. It's like a horror movie that you play as the main character.
Interesting. But I'm
But-
sure when Mario Maker 2 comes out, like it's just one of those like things that you don't have to sit there and put too much thought into the lore. You're just like there and you're like, I gotta go from left to right. Easy. you know, and it's super enjoyable because you get to see like all these different
Sometimes right to left.
mechanics.
Sometimes
Right
right
to
to
left.
left. He says.
Well, actually, I think there's now going to be up too. Now there's a vertical
Mhm,
vertical
up and
level.
down.
Oh my god, I can't wait for that game. Ah, it's gonna be good. But yeah, just whatever you're feeling. Just kind of like, I mean, that's why we have genres and stuff like that, right? You know, whatever you're like, oh, I'm down for a rom com. You know, not that I probably would ever say that in real life.
Is
but-
that? Oh yeah.
What's the rom-com?
romance comedy?
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. I'm not for yeah. He was actually talking about that like the whole time I was there. He's like, Kirby, please, I want to watch the rom coms.
Yo, Sweet Home Alabama, man. That's still on TV.
Kirby was like, well, should we wait for the girls? I'm like, no, I just want to watch
No.
it with you.
The rom com.
And that's why he went back to Michigan. He was like, bros, we gotta go.
I gotta go. I gotta leave.
We gotta go, bro.
Nebraska's
I'm like-
weird, dude.
If Trell makes me watch Serendipity one more time,
Trell really likes Brokeback Mountain. I don't
He's all
understand
about
it.
this. Oh man.
I didn't know Brokeback Mountain was a comedy.
I've never
Oh.
seen it, to be honest. I just know it's one of those movies that's always talked about.
Speaking of like kids games, the new Yoshi game's coming out in like 3 weeks. I'm actually really
Yeah.
excited for that too. Yoshi's Crafted World.
They have the demo out, actually.
Did you play it?
I know. I was thinking about doing that, actually.
It's fun. I mean, it's only the first level, which is like really easy, but it's still the game looks great from like an artistic standpoint, obviously, and I don't know, it's gonna be fun. I think.
Crafted World, right? And then
Yep.
you like the Yarn
Woolly World. I love that game.
Woolly World,
That game's
Woolly World.
fantastic.
I need to play some Yoshi games. Like the last really solid Yoshi game I played was Yoshi's Story on the 64.
Oh man. So yeah, I didn't play much of the handheld ones either. So I mean, this like Woolly World is like the only console-based Yoshi game after Story. So
See, and that's where I think Nintendo, I'm trying to bringing this back to our topic again. I think this is what Nintendo has been doing all along, right? Like they were kind of on the back burner with the mainline console for a while because they were doing handhelds and things like that because that was designed for kids. Like how many adults? I mean, apart from like present audience, I guess, because
Sure.
we're all kids at heart. But like, I mean, how many adults were sitting there investing tons of money in the 3DS over a household console like the Xbox or something like that, right? I wouldn't say that like I'm sure a lot of adults out there have a 3DS or whatever, but they wouldn't invest as much money as that than they would for a PS4 or whatever. True. It was more geared for kids. But then they were like that. You could see it with the Wii. They started getting the motion controls. The Wii U, they were starting to go to where they were wanting to go. And then the Switch, it was like they arrived. They finally got what they wanted. They combined the handheld with a mainline console, and it's just absolutely blasting anything out of the water. It's just ridiculous with their sales.
Still doing well?
It is, but they need to make sure they don't lose momentum on releasing games. That's like always been Nintendo's problem, though.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean,
and that was the thing when they first released. Like they're gonna.
It was like had a slow start already. You know.
Yeah, it's a slow start. But I mean, like one of their first release games was a complete remake, right? The Mario Kart Deluxe.
Yeah, which is their bestseller.
Selling game. It's so ridiculous.
Really
it was free money to them. Free money.
Well,
it's crazy.
All we gotta do is port this.
They recognize the fact that not a lot of people bought Wii U's. Wii U failed. Like, it did. We all had them, but like, Wii U failed. And so they're like, well, there's some really good titles on the Wii U that we want people to be able to experience. So they brought them over.
Talk about belief in their game plan though, because you could tell that the Switch is where they were going, and they were like, no, Wii U, the people just don't get it yet. They just don't get it, but they'll get it.
I know that we're not. This isn't like the main topic. But like, Nintendo doesn't really make bad games. They may not make a lot of games, but the games they make are all pretty arguably good.
And their hardware is pretty solid too. I've never had problems with Nintendo. Xbox, oh my god. So many problems. PS4, the list is growing. But Nintendo, I'm like, we still have a 64.
Yep,
and it's beautiful.
So good. So one, but you seem to hesitate a bit. Like, so what Nintendo games do you think are bad? I don't mean games on a Nintendo system. Games made by Nintendo.
I would say there's a bunch of Wii and GameCube games that were not great.
Do you? Like, I'm not challenging that, but like off the top of your head, because I just don't. When I'm just thinking like
Wii games, like there's a lot of motion control games that failed.
Well, their motion controls were pretty shitty.
I wasn't really a big fan of Red Steel, and they really tried to sell that game.
What? I don't even know what that game is. Hold on.
So there you go.
So wait, well, this game wasn't made by Nintendo though. This was made by Ubisoft.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, Nintendo definitely has not. That's actually Nintendo's biggest problem is that the only good games on their consoles are first-party games, and they don't have many good third-party games.
Right.
But again, this is a whole different topic, so I don't know if you want to go down this rabbit hole here.
I would say that Nintendo is just like, there's.
I feel like that's
all right. So if they don't make bad games, the problem is then that they focus too much on the games.
That's exactly. Well, yeah, because they don't make enough of them either. Like,
right, that's
like
what I mean.
The Switch is great. It has good games on it, but like I haven't played that thing.
I mean, they're big enough that they could make more groups that are making more games. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I don't know why the problem is. We're getting really off topic, but I don't know why the problem. Like, well, Microsoft I just hate, but PlayStation, Sony has plenty of games. I do. Sony has plenty of third-party games. I don't even know if they have like any. Do they even make games like Sony? Do they even have first-party games?
I think they're more in the publisher role.
Yeah, okay. Nintendo's like the opposite, where they just make games, and any third-party game on their system definitely works.
I think
until now, it's a bit different now.
I
but
think
yes, go
also
ahead.
Nintendo has a habit recently of doing games that if they are online appropriate, like
Mhm.
they at some point make the game not work anymore. Or
Nintendo also sucks at
they
online.
drop the
I
quality from that. So like let me
don't
just
understand that at all.
do some easy low balls for that. Like
All
they
right, guys, we're swapping over to Sony versus
remade
Microsoft versus Nintendo.
they completely remade Wind Waker and Twilight Princess in HD, right?
Yep.
There was some online content that they made for that, like some that was only available through online stuff,
I
like
didn't actually
more
know that.
collectibles and things like that. That no longer works. It's completely dead. Like they broke their own game because they got rid of the Miiverse. Same
Yeah.
thing with like
Oh.
what was that Mario 3D World or
Yeah,
whatever
that
it
game.
is.
Oh yeah, where you like rate levels at the end of it? Yeah.
Yeah, you rate the levels, you write notes, the pictures and stuff like that come out on the main.
Well, Nintendo just blows at making anything online.
Yeah,
They
so
just
like,
suck.
Yeah, that's a whole stream in itself. We could talk about that.
Like, it is.
and
I
we
was
have in the
Go ahead,
past.
Moment, sorry.
too. But like, anyway, so let's get back on topic. We could talk about that. We're recognizing
This
that
is
we're
a
getting
topic.
off topic. Let's get back into it. So adult versus children's games. As a whole, I
Sekiro
think
versus
that
every other
like,
game.
Sekiro, dude.
I think that Nintendo really does have like a corner on the market with children's games like that everybody likes to play.
I mean, is anyone else even trying?
I don't know. Like
Like,
I know
I-
that PlayStation and Xbox, they're most known for adult games. Like
All right, so let's do it. Let's do a challenge here. Try and think of one or two games that are children's games that are made by Nintendo, but also aren't like Barney or Barbie Adventure.
See, I think you're right on the money there, Kirby. But I do want to bring in there mobile games, Android,
You
iOS.
got me. No, that's perfect. That's what I was looking for. Okay.
That's where you're going to be in the competitor because, and this goes back to what I was saying before about like the handheld things being more geared towards kids. The Switch is going to be dominating because it's got like the franchise that are built for kids, and it's on a handheld. But then you're going to have like those kids, like my kid, who's crazy, can operate any tablet you throw in front of them right now. They're going to be wanting to play all these like things on the Android, Google Play Store, or whatever. And I think that the iOS and Google are going to be gearing. I shouldn't say those because it's the companies that put it on those stores, but those companies are building apps for kids. And I think Microsoft and stuff like that, I think they're kind of almost bowing out, in my opinion. I don't think they're going.
They're not trying.
they're not trying.
Sony tried with the Vita, and then they gave up because Nintendo dunked on them. And then Microsoft never tried, so they kind of
Microsoft
realized that
has
it's not with their money to
Androids,
compete.
Like
Oh yeah.
What was the one that Microsoft came out with lately? It was a Super Lucky Tail.
Wait, what is this?
The fox with like the blue cape or
Oh
something.
yeah, no, that's a mobile game. I know the game you're talking about.
No, it's not a mobile game, but they came
the
out on the
kids-
Xbox,
okay.
and then it was exclusive on the Xbox. I thought, but
Yeah.
I think it's now on Steam.
They put it to Steam. That's right, because Microsoft can't make exclusives. Whole other topic.
So here's something. I think I figured something out just by thinking about it. So, Nintendo is the only console developer that is based on children-oriented games, whereas the other two are more focused toward adult games if they're developing them, but they also have a lot more third-party people making games, and those third parties can make whatever they want, kid-oriented games or otherwise. So
That's fair.
Nintendo is more locked into one demographic, whereas the other ones are a lot more fluid.
And
For example,
I like-
Capcom does work with Nintendo a bit, and they do make kid games, but they also
Well, they make Mega
can
Man. I
make-
don't know if you count that as a kid game.
Right.
But they just made Mega Man 11.
I would count Mega Man as a kid game, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Does that make
No,
sense?
I
Yeah, it
think
does make
that's,
sense.
I think that's fair because a lot of times
Like Steam
any-
does the same thing,
to build off what you were saying, just kind of like all these different smaller companies putting stuff on either like Google Play or iOS store or whatever. You have like if you look at like the Switch store or the Xbox store or PS4 store or whatever, like they have like all these like little small indie games on there, and they're usually like they'll have some like child ones on there that they're usually, and sometimes there's some really good ones on there to be honest. Like I think that's how I stumbled across Stardew Valley, to be honest. And
That game's so fucking good. Oh my god.
it's so good. And I would say it's more geared for children.
It is. That's a fantastic game. I love that game.
It's so good. And it's like, that one's available on anything. So you can play it on anything, but it's like,
Yeah, I play on my smart fridge.
It's but I mean, like, sometimes these indie ones sometimes they do it right. They just like put a game out there that's playable on all kinds of consoles, so that way they're going to capture someone somewhere.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a hard thing to like even draw the line one way or the other because adults enjoy children's games for the most part, unless it's like oriented toward a very young audience. Like, just like some people like children's novels, like young adult novels. I guess young adult is like really what most games are oriented to, young adult, not kid. But like,
Right.
Like for example, Hunger Games was a young adult novel. Like.
Would you say Harry Potter is young adult?
Yes.
Yeah.
Although yeah, I would say it's young adult. Yeah.
Okay. And so was Twilight, right?
Yes, I think so. Although that's kind of it's young adult. Yeah.
Okay.
I never read Twilight, so I don't really know, and I've never seen the movies.
I never read it or seen the movies. So
Yeah, I bet Mr. Romcom.
I think Dark Souls is totally a rom-com, to be honest.
Yeah, Dark Souls is the best rom-com. Oh, Laquela, she's so funny.
She is. She's so cute and she's so charming.
She's the ex that is the trying to get back with you.
Yup.
In the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She did me wrong, and now she's trying to work her way back in my heart.
Did me wrong.
She's a boss, and she's gonna fire you. Ha.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Maybe that's the sweet spot, is like the young adult thing, because it's kind of like, rather than pick a side of I'm going to be a mature game, I'm going to be a child game, you're kind of in there and you're a little bit of best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the sweet spot.
I guess.
And then even though Mario and Zelda and stuff like that are deemed like child games.
Oh, it's Mario Day.
Is it Mario Day?
March
it
10th.
is.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I need to be playing some Mario Maker today. Damn.
Yeah, sorry, continue with what you were saying. I looked at the day, I was like, uh-oh. Gotta shout Mario Day real quick.
Mario. So, even though like some of those investing in are like Mario and Zelda and all that stuff like that, they've been around for so long that like they know that they're going to have a captured audience in adults anyways, so at that point they don't even need to spin up something that's going to be like a young adult franchise. They already have all the adults in this franchise, so
Yep.
Got him.
Got him.
I just want to see. We mentioned it earlier. I just want to see a Dark Souls maker now. That's what I really want to see.
I mean, I want to see a Zelda maker, to be honest, so I can remake Mario 64.
Oh my gosh.
No, that'd be kind of cool, actually.
Because I already made Zelda and Mario,
yeah.
so I gotta make Mario and Zelda.
That would be actually pretty awesome to see. So what else? What else? Anything else you guys want to say about this topic?
No, but I realize I have a lot to say about Sony versus Microsoft versus Nintendo when we get there. But with this specific topic, no, I'm good.
This thing is so. I love that every time we do a topic, we end up like branching out, and we have to keep bringing it back. We're like, no, don't do it.
Don't do it. No.
And I mean, like, I guess, what would you think? It was just what games would you guys say are controversially always pushing the line on being influencing children's games? And I think this might be branching into a new topic that we have listed in our Discord chat, but I want to say that every time I always hear like the child versus mature thing, I always hear GTA right away. That's like the number one thing I always hear. And I don't know why kids even are allowed near that game.
Because the parents don't care.
Maybe, yeah, probably.
I mean, imagine
yeah.
if you're a parent, you're just like, I don't want my kid to bother anymore. They really want to play GTA, like kind of like your thing, but less reasonable. Like here's GTA, just go do whatever you're gonna do. I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go smoke. I mean,
Right, yeah. Well, it's like you see like I mean, you get that kind of crazy crap on YouTube now too, actually, which is pretty messed up. But like as a parent, you got to try to be aware of these things. And you hear like these news reports, and you're kind of like, that's disgusting. Why would you do that? But like you have like these kids, you have like YouTube Kids, right? So
Yep.
you like your kids like, oh, I really want to watch, you know, whatever, some Paw Patrol thing or something on YouTube.
yep.
And I seriously think I should stop streaming and just make YouTube kid stuff because I swear they must be cleaning up on monetization on their videos, because kids will just sit there and watch the same video like 100 times and they just clean up on monetization. Anyways,
It's Friday.
that's a different topic.
Friday.
But like, you know, but then some people that are making these things for YouTube Kids, they'll hide in the video like scary graphic stuff
Yeah.
to mess up the kid, and I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
You know?
just why?
I know it's not like, and you know, at least with like games, it's not like GTA. In GTA's defense, like GTA's never said like, oh, kids, come play me, I'm a really fun kids game, you know. No,
Yep.
they've never done that. They're like,
Right.
no.
I mean, they're
We are
pretty
pretty
open
bad.
about it. Like they have a woman in a bikini on the cover. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, the only ones that I would say even push that envelope, and they don't really, because they even say like, when you're about to select the game on the rare replay or whatever, it's like, this is a mature game, don't play it.
Is it Conkers? Yeah.
Yeah, because it looks childish, you know. You're kind of
Yeah.
like, it's same with
That
like
was
something
the
like South Park,
intention.
something like
Yeah.
that.
yeah,
South,
yeah.
South Park looks childish, but it's not childish.
It's-
It's just, you know, even things like Rick and Morty, it's like or The Simpsons. I mean, Simpsons is also pretty
It's kind of borderline
tame
there.
nowadays. Yeah. I remember back in the day, I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons, but nowadays, I'm sure I would let my kid watch The Simpsons. I'd be like, yeah, dude, it's funny. Go watch that. You know?
My parents wouldn't even let me watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because they thought it was too violent. Power Rangers
Really?
too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You said Power Rangers? Is that what you just said?
Power Rangers too. Yeah.
Oh,
They
my God.
didn't even play
No.
the sparks fly out of them.
And the putties, dude. My parents let me watch Power Rangers. I had all the toys. Like, you had like the little gloves that had a button right here, so when you hit it, it would make that noise. So I was sitting there going like,
Yeah.
I thought it was the baddest shit ever, man. It was so good.
Then you got games like Dead or Alive, and then Saints Row. Those are all mature games too.
I love Saints Row.
Kind of.
But you know, I have to say, I really do appreciate the publishers not hiding anything. They're pretty upfront.
They have to. Like, it's
Yeah.
not.
What would that gain them? What would that gain them exactly?
What do you mean?
What would that gain them to hide anything? Like, be like, oh, we're a kids game, and
They
then
can't
have-
legally hide anything.
That's true. I mean, I guess. Well, according to that ESRB system, they submit their own graphic content, so it's not like the ESRB is actually going to be like on the release day going through all their game to make sure they gave them the worst of the worst, you know.
They
So
get
there's like a
fined
little
if-
bit.
They get fined if they get caught.
Oh, true. Let me actually look at that again. I want to see. Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, it's just like movies and stuff too. Like there's regulations. They're federal.
Mm.
Hidden content. In 2005, members of the mod community discovered that the PC version of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas could be modified to unlock an incomplete sex minigame known as Hot Coffee,
Uh-oh.
which Rockstar North had decided to leave out of the final game. The discovery of the minigame caused California State Assemblyman Leland Yee to rebuke both Rockstar and the ESRB, blah, blah. Yeah, you can go through here, and there's a bunch of, like, stuff on here about different things that have happened. That's interesting. Would you consider that? Like, if it's still in the code, does it count?
I guess.
I mean, if the
so.
kids have access to it, right? I mean, it kind of has to count, I feel like.
But you would have to hack the game to get access to it. That's almost...
Oh, okay. I didn't... Yeah, I
but
guess...
still, like if you release it, if it's in the game, then you can be held accountable for it. If you don't want to be accounted for it, then you gotta take that shit out. Like that's like
Okay.
that's
on
like
that
me. painting a painting, and then on the back there's a nude painting, and like, oh, it's in a frame. You can't.
Okay, let me
It's-
let me play devil's advocate real quick then. Microtransactions.
Don't even get me started on those.
What? I mean,
what's your
that's
point
not-
with that?
is-
Like, what
Is
do you
that
mean?
child friendly?
No, because they're gonna fucking try and they don't know. They're gonna probably start trying to gamble with it and just waste their own money.
Or their parents' money, right? So
Yeah,
then
that's yeah.
why should it even be in a child's game then? Why
They
should
shouldn't be in
even allow-
any game.
mean, I agree with
Microtransactions often up the content rating. I think.
I
think
hate
so.
microtransactions. They're so scummy.
They are. They shouldn't be allowed in
Either that or there's a push for that to happen because microtransactions can be addicting, and which
Yeah,
we talked
the
about in an earlier episode.
Yup.
ESRB added that games that contain actual wagering of real money would hold the adults only rating. Nice, good ESRB, good boys.
Yeah, thank you, Ocean. Microtransactions are trash. God, I
Yeah.
hate that.
We are all anti-micro here.
But like, well, that's not. I guess that's wagering. So I guess that like things like loot boxes and stuff like that. In
Well,
like,
let me ask you. Yeah, okay. So
Overwatch.
excluding loot
Right.
boxes, microtransactions
That-
specifically, like you pay, you know what you're getting when you pay for it. In a paid game, they're absolute scum. In a free game, how do you feel about them? Where it's
You mean
essentially
like
their
Pokemon
only
Go?
revenue.
I
I
feel
don't,
like
I've never played Pokemon Go, but sure.
I feel like it's fair.
Okay,
No.
then yeah, okay, that's fine.
If you're gonna like have the whole game be free, and you got to make some
It's the
sort of
only
money.
way that they can make money. Yeah,
And that's
And
fine.
Ads, which
But
And
don't
AdWords,
put that
man.
shit in a paid game. Don't. I paid for
Yeah.
this. God, I'm getting mad.
What are you guys, EA or something? Come on, don't do that.
okay, well, Overwatch is a paid game, and you can buy skins and things like that, which
I don't
has
think-
been a
wait,
controversial topic.
I don't think
recently.
you should have loot boxes in that game, but paying for skins is fine. Wait, it's a paid game. Then yeah, no, that's trash. I hate them.
But what classifies loot boxes and stuff like
But
that
remember,
as
Kirby,
where
like,
you-
that doesn't
where you're
affect the
pay-
game at all.
wagering.
It doesn't make you any better by having these
I just-
skins.
I don't
It's
care, I
the
just
way
hate
you
it.
look.
I just hate it. I know. I hate that I have to pay for things when I already
Yeah,
paid for the
I
game.
agree with Ocean. If it's just cosmetics, it's fine.
I
But,
s-
like,
yeah.
If it's
cosmetics
actual
is fine.
content that's being blocked, like Star Wars, then yeah, that's a problem.
Good call out, actually. Yeah, I'm okay with like the skins and everything. If it doesn't actually do anything for you in the game, then fine,
Yep.
I mean, I'm not gonna like it, but it's better than
You shouldn't be able to buy your way to the top.
correct.
Okay, yeah.
Hmm.
So I guess like I'm not really sure what classifies as wagering then on this Wikipedia article, like as opposed to like lock boxes. I guess I mean, I wouldn't consider lock boxes or loot boxes or whatever
There you go.
as wagering.
Lock boxes. But
Lockbox.
why don't you think it is? Like you're paying for something you don't know what you're going to get out of it.
Well, let's just say Overwatch isn't isn't an adult only rating though, so obviously loot box isn't considered wagering to ESRB then.
Oh, no. I mean, I just hate gambling as a whole, like outside of gaming and everything. I don't think I just hate it. I hate the concept of it, and that's just a me thing. But
To be honest, I think that Dark Souls should be adult only because you're gambling your souls every single time.
every time you leave the bonfire,
I think that's the worst kind of gambling.
true
I mean, life should be adult only then.
facts. Yup. Get these kids out of here.
Should be. I mean, you don't.
Every
wanna be
time
born
you
as an
leave
adult, that'd
every
be
time you
really
leave your
uncomfortable.
bed, you're just gambling that you're gonna either get like infected with a disease or you're gonna lose money and have to pay for something. And
I mean, the orcs coming out of those things in Lord of the Rings really had it made. Like they came out as adults, you know.
That's so lucky.
They knew how to
Crazy.
fight immediately.
Microtransactions so much, dude. We've changed topics like 5 times, and like we've gotten to Sekiro or Dark Souls like 3 different times,
So
which
if
is the
this is your
best.
first time watching the podcast, this is pretty much normal.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
how it goes.
we always seem to bring it back. We keep roping ourselves back in, but then we keep wanting to get. We just can't be tamed.
I mean, there's
We
just
wanna
so
be-
many
Can't
topics
be
that touch on
tamed.
topics. So like, and we'll always mention Dark Souls. It just happens. It's just a thing.
It just happens. Well, until we're waiting for Kirby to finish all the Dark Souls games so we can finally talk about Dark Souls as a
Hurry up.
topic.
Yeah,
Come on,
my
man.
bad, guys. I'm stuck on the Gargs. I can't beat them.
If you would just hurry up, then we can actually just do a Dark Souls podcast real quick. Come on, man.
I'm trying. It's tough. This dude named Wilhelm keeps kicking my ass. He keeps healing, and it's so cheap. I don't know what to do.
Dumb. He's so dumb.
I don't know what to do about him, guys. He's so strong.
I got him. And the Nameless King went crawling back to his daddy. God damn, man.
Oh man.
We're being sarcastic. Kirby's finished all of them. Yeah, it's Trell.
Oh, yeah, it's Trell. It's Trell's slow ass. He's the one we're waiting for.
You're my slow ass. I've done DS3. I beat DS3 on like 20 streams.
Yep. Okay.
You haven't beaten
That was just
DS3 till you finish Ring City.
Soul Cinder equals beat. I'm on additional content now.
Disagree. This is the only game that I disagree.
All bosses equal beat game.
Yeah, in this one, yes. In Dark Souls 1, the DLC doesn't really affect anything. In Dark Souls 2, the DLC doesn't really affect anything. In DS3, I would disagree.
Wait, how does it affect anything?
That's all I'm saying.
Wait. I didn't hear that. Can you repeat that? Sorry, I'm trash.
DS3 DLC, it actually completes the game.
Oh yeah. I got you.
What does that mean?
Bro, if you
What is it?
were, how about you just pick it up and like pick up the pace here and
Pick up the pace?
pick up the
I'm
pace.
like dunking the first DLC. Are you kidding me?
Wilhelm, please don't
The easy
heal.
one.
Wilhelm, please.
God, I can't wait to watch that footage. I wasn't there
He's
for this.
Trell's healing 15 times and Wilhelm heals. It's not fair.
He ran out of heal. You just have to let him run out of heals. He shot his wad and then he ran out of heals and I was able to get him. Stupid, man. That was dumb.
Dude, oh my god.
You shouldn't be allowed to pick. And no. Anyway,
He kicks my shield when I'm holding it for 10 seconds,
See
and it's
what I
not
mean,
fair
guys,
that you can
about
do the same moves
Dark
I
Souls?
can.
I had to say Dark Souls, and then they just went right back into it. Just right back in.
We can do it.
So next podcast is going to be Sekiro topic, right?
Yeah.
Dude,
All right.
How are we gonna
wait.
handle? It's gonna be touchy there, right? Because we're gonna be at different spots.
Well,
Oh,
so
dude, I'm gonna
here's
beat the game.
what
You guys
we'll
are gonna
have
be
to do
so
is see
slow.
what the person where we are, and we'll talk about like first impression
Up
stuff.
to that. Okay, yeah. So we'll have to like kind of like, have you seen this? Like, be really sly about it. Of course, Trell will have beaten the game 8 times. Right.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to be like, come on, guys, pick up the pace. Come on.
Because I probably will be playing on Saturday, and then we'll podcast Sunday, so I'll only have one stream down.
That's yeah.
Okay.
You do long-ish streams. You'll probably do like a longer one. We'll
Right.
see.
So we'll see.
Oh, because it comes out that Friday.
And none of us are
Saturday.
going to have watched each other's streams, so this is the way we
Wait,
can
what?
like talk about it.
Right. Yeah. I won't. I mean, I might like peep in real quick, but I think I've played it. Like, if I play on Friday, play until Saturday one, but I might
Right.
peep in on your stream a little bit, but probably not too much because you'll probably explore and find something I missed. So even then, it's a
Yeah.
risky play.
It's
Even then, it's risky. Even if we'll see.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about first impressions and then thoughts
And then
going
talk
forward.
about like mechanics and things. Yeah.
You know,
Mechanics, maybe theorize on the lore.
dude,
and
there's
but then we'll definitely have to keep it pretty.
Does that mean that like every 2 weeks until Sekiro's done, we're going to be talking Sekiro?
yes.
No, because then Kirby's gonna take like 5 months to do it, so then we're gonna be getting on his slow ass again.
Well, God, dude, I want to talk about Bloodborne, but look at Trell, not even starting it.
That's not fair. I'm late to this whole franchise, man.
Whose fault is that?
Trell, you started before me in Dark Souls.
Yeah, what the fuck?
What are you talking about? Nuh-uh.
Yes,
Yeah,
you were
started
starting Dark Souls.
1.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna pull this card. I have 2 kids. All
Me
right?
too.
Okay.
You just haven't seen them.
But you stream way more than I do.
Like an hour at a time though, and I'm cold every single morning. I got a million excuses. Don't even get me started.
God.
None of them which admit that I'm just bad. None of them. There's always a reason, right?
Yeah, I mean, fair. You've got kids. You don't stream very long. When I do stream for long, and when I really get into a game, I stream more. So like that's fair. But like,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
I get it. Don't
To be
make
honest, I
sense.
think if I had the same pace I do now, because I'm a better Souls player now. I think if I had
Right.
this kind of skill in 1 and 2, it would have been a lot quicker.
Right, you'd been
2,
done.
oh my god, though.
Yeah, we gotta
2
have
is
the
just such a
excuses
long
command in
game.
here.
2 is way too long. That should be illegal.
I
It should
actually
be
liked how long
illegal.
2 was. I was actually pretty happy with it.
I mean, here's my problem. And Dark Souls podcast.
Oh,
Sorry, guys.
Wait, stop.
yeah.
No, we're using up material for the Dark Souls podcast.
Okay, that's fair. It's too long for not.
Yeah, we'll get there.
You
We'll
just
get
hurry your ass up, Kirby. Come on.
Will we get the show? Oh my! Don't even start.
Anyway.
I've never seen you stream any Dark Souls game. I've seen
You see
Wombat
me stream Dark Souls.
Yeah, you put it on, and you probably load some save file that you got from the internet. That was
You
cute.
can watch me
But
start
I've
my.
never seen you fight a boss on Dark Souls.
You can watch
never
me
seen-
create my character.
I've never seen a boss beaten on a Kirby Dark stream. So
So stupid.
I'm still calling a flag on the field there. I don't think you've ever even played the game.
I feel you there, Ocean. There was definitely something lacking with Miyazaki not being there. But they did manage to connect some things and make it still. It's like a Capcom version of a Zelda game. It's still in the series. It's just not as canon.
Yeah. To be honest, I feel like they created some stuff that that kind of embellished some stuff from 1, but then I think 3 built on 2 in some ways.
Yeah, I
Especially
mean
the
they
whole
definitely
monarchy-
and they
monarchy.
definitely canonized 2 by some content in 3. So
Right.
and Trell has yet to find some of that, and Trell has already found some of that. So
If Trell wanted to find it, Trell would find it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he would have.
yeah, no, you will be finding this. Don't worry.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, there's a really cool one in the second DLC that I like a lot.
Oh yeah.
It's the whole reason I wanted to play Dark Souls 2.
I'm totally in the know. I'm
Oh
cool
yeah,
too.
I'm
And
sure.
then I was
Yeah,
real let down when I got there. When
That was
there.
real. Oh man.
Anyway, so I guess the biggest thing with children versus adults is like
Sekiro
what we
good.
talked about was that like it's kind of a hard line to make because some games cross the line and some games don't. So that means that some games are kind of acceptable where some games wouldn't be, even if they're in the same category of age. Kind of just like some R-rated movies my parents were okay with me seeing versus others that they weren't. And it seems like violence is less heavy than like graphic content, like but with some exceptions, like the way they do it. Like Dead Space, for instance, is graphic in a violent way, right?
Right.
Whereas
And,
like Dark Souls, it's like you see blood splatter and like stuff like that.
I think in the rating system, I think that like things like drug usage or sexual content is
Right.
always going to be weighed heavier than violence.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Outlast when they're cutting off wee-wees or whatever.
Cutting off wee wees.
That's always going to be bad. So
Yeah, that's too mature for even me. Like
yeah,
I was like, no.
I was having to close my eyes in some of those scenes. I was like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah. So it's definitely an interesting topic, and it's not one that can be exhaustive either, because like you can go through each game and talk about how it's mature versus not mature, but
Yeah.
Right.
And then I like that we kind of brought this to like a certain question of kids and stuff like that, like allowing what's the right of age when are you the age of ascension into violent games,
Age of Ascension.
age of ascension. I don't think there's going to be a black and white answer to that ever.
Right.
I mean, it's really depends on the person. I mean, some people are less able to handle content than others, and then some people are just not like interested in video games at all, so like yeah, high fantasy does ride the line majority of the time, like especially but like sometimes it doesn't, like I don't know. I remember
but-
when they had to tone down Ocarina of Time because it was religious content and
Oh,
there
and Fire
was
Temple.
too much blood.
Yeah, the Fire Temple. Actually, that was a really good call out there, Kirby. I remember when I was a kid, I played that. Yeah, because it was apparently it's like an Islamic chant in there or something like that.
Yeah, it was
what-
they used stock sound effects for some of the stuff and mixed it together, and that there was a stock chanting.
I
That
thought
they
it was
used
cool.
and mixed in with it. Yeah, I have the original versions.
So do I.
still
Like,
have it.
like when I play like hear like a remake or whatever on Twitch now, I'm like, this like I didn't know at first. I was like, I don't remember. I thought this was different, and then I went back to my version. I was like, yeah, what's going on here? And when I googled it, I was like, it blew my mind the controversy of OOT and religion. So I was like,
Yeah,
what?
and
I just
like
thought it was a cool chant, man.
the symbol for the Gerudo being the crescent moon with a star, and they changed it to a
Oh.
mask. Because
Wow,
the crescent
wow.
moon and the star is a symbol of like the Turkish flag and other
Right.
countries. So, and then like Ganondorf spits up blood in the original game, but it's green stuff in the remake.
Weak.
Or in
Oh,
the
it's just-
in,
it's not
in
blood, it's
later
just
versions, I should say.
Puke.
What'd you say, Charles? It's not blood. It's puke.
Yeah, that's okay.
Oh, yeah,
Not,
yeah.
not violent if it's puke.
True. Got him.
So
He just coughed up some apple juice. It's okay.
yeah,
He
like,
always does that, guys.
and it's funny how like we've been talking kind of about early games versus now. Like it's funny how far we've come. Like where that was like the line back in N64 days, but now we've got
Right?
like God of War. Like there's a sex mini game. Like. Like it's very different these days. Like the line has definitely
Right.
been pulled back. The curtain is a lot.
We're
higher.
all desensitized. I think like we accept a lot more
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah,
I mean, like I think Bestro said it really well. Like in some things, like America is. He says America is afraid of sex, but not murder. Like when I lived in Europe, you would go. I mean, a little off topic, or I'll bring it back to my point. Like you
No, I
go
like
into
it.
you go into a store or whatever, and you see nudie mags just out there like on display in Europe. Here, they're like behind that little like area where you can't see it. They're in a vault, and you have to get a key from like the dungeons or the depths of Dark Souls to go get in there if you want to get that nudie mag or whatever. If people even get nudie mags nowadays, because it's all online, right? But my point is like America is like so against certain things, and maybe it's just cultural, right? But like it's for some things like nudity and stuff like that. I would say a boob slip is way not as bad as like cutting off limbs or something like that, like in Dark Souls or in Dead Space or something,
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
But I'm sure like a violent game like Dead Space is if compared to a game that had like maybe some boob, they'd be like almost equivalent in the rating. It'd be
like Dante's
No, I get that.
Inferno, for instance. Have you ever played Dante's Inferno?
I've
seen
only
it play-
played like
yeah.
the first few minutes.
Okay.
So I know what you're talking about with there's like that opening cutscene where there's like some boob.
It's throughout, and it's not just boob.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in that game. But so Ocean asked, Final Fantasy, where do we rank it on the spectrum? Well, I don't think any of us have played the Final Fantasy series at all.
I played Final Fantasy 7.
Same 7, and I didn't like it.
So
You don't
like,
like RPGs.
and I never had a PlayStation until recently. So like, none of us have really played Final Fantasy.
I think Final Fantasy is like Final Fantasy 7 at least. I want to play 6. Some of the playlist is like PG-13. There's violence, there's like some death, but I don't know. I don't think it's anything worse than like Lord of the Rings, personally.
Right.
Young adult.
Yep.
So if I make a video game, I'm definitely going to be aiming for that young adult sweet spot because that seems to be the most profitable.
Would you consider Little Nightmares to be young adult?
Ooh, good question.
'Cause
You think Chubby Rollster? I'm not exposing my kids to Chubby McRollster.
Chubby Rollster, man, he was something else. I would say yes, it's young adult, but you also should know your kid because with horror genre stuff,
Mm,
if your kid is easily spooked, you should probably steer them away.
right.
If they're prone to nightmares and things like that,
Just like scary movies
Tread-
like PG-13. Yeah.
tread lightly. Tread lightly. You know, you got to know your kid. So I don't think I would show Aiden. He's so like he's such a champion in some ways, but then there's sometimes where it's like there's some nights where he wakes up in the middle of the night and I'm like, well, what was it? Was it Mickey Mouse didn't get enough hot dogs one day or something? I don't.
He did-
Why are you scared? You know?
He thought there wasn't enough hot dogs for him.
I'm like, what do you have to be scared of right now? But you know, I'm sure he'll be watching Lord of the Rings with me soon enough, and or right now I would almost fear that would scare him, but
Mhm.
you know,
Well, I
he
think this is-
surely wouldn't even understand it right now either.
Yeah, probably not. And you might desensitize him by letting him watch some stuff, and then later he'll be okay.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a tough call. Sucks to be a parent, I guess, right?
If you enjoy sleep, don't become a parent.
That's what I'm trying to tell Rose, but no.
Man, I have cats and I can't sleep, so I was up at
Gosh.
like 5:30 this morning because of cats. So
Was
Just
it
making
hairballs?
sure my man Mickey had enough to eat. Yeah, exactly.
well, I think that about sums it up, right?
Yep.
So next week we will not be doing a podcast, but in 2 weeks, that
Just
would
you
be
wait.
the 22nd?
Yeah.
24th.
No, wait.
24th.
No, because the 22nd is
22nd
Sekiro
is
Day.
Sekiro.
Oh my God,
praise
right?
God, baby. So good.
Why are you so far away, Sekiro? Come back.
So
Oh my God.
we will be talking Sekiro in 2 weeks. It's 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 7 Central, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And a whole bunch of other time zones, different times. Yeah, got it, nailed it.
Got
If you guys liked what you saw, make sure you give us a follow so that you can pick up the podcast next time. And we will definitely be letting you know when and if anything changes. But yeah, count on us in 2 weeks.
Unless I'm
8
playing
a.m.
Sekiro.
Eastern Standard. And we'll be talking all about our first impressions of Sekiro.
I'll try not to spoil everything after I beat the game.
Yep. With his whole 2 hours, that he's gonna play it on stream before he has to go do adult things. He's gonna.
Oh.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us, and
Yep,
thanks
yep.
for the input, guys. We really appreciate the conversation. Like,
Oh yeah.
it's nice to have people in here conversing with us about stuff and getting us to get off topic. So, thank you.
It's the
Yeah.
best.
So,
Yes.
welcome, guys. Glad you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Peace.